Thank you very much for watching this video. Before we begin, I wanted to include a disclaimer, as I include in my about section as well as in the description of this video. All of my readings are for entertainment purposes only. They are never, ever meant to diagnose, treat, or otherwise have any influence upon your own medical issues or situations that you may have. I always encourage everyone to make their own sound decisions, including legal matters, financial matters, and every other matter in your own life. These are for entertainment purposes only. As these are general tea leaf readings, again, it makes sense, therefore, that some of this information will resonate with you and some of it may not. You may find that some applies and some doesn't. That is completely normal and to be expected, as these are general tea leaf readings. So again, take what you will and leave what you don't, and simply enjoy your reading and hope that you find it informative and insightful. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah and this is a general tea leaf reading for the week of September 26th. 2022. Let's look and see what the universe would like us to know this week. These tea leaves are actually very interesting, almost as if we have to think that we are looking into a mirror. You can very clearly see that there is one main event or situation which is being presented here and here. Now, obviously, we are going to be focusing on this main event or situation because this is where the majority of the tea leaves are placed. However, this is what I mean by being very interesting and almost as if we are looking into a mirror. You can see that as this event or situation progresses during the week, and I would say that it's likely beginning on either Monday evening or most likely on Tuesday, and that progresses, as you can see, into the weekend and into next week. Whereas this event or situation, which is really being shown in terms of a pattern of leaves, you can see that it does begin around the middle of the week and it does progress into the weekend heading into next week. While it may seem like it begins as an insignificant event or situation, it actually leads to very important and very significant outcome, which you can very clearly see here by the tea leaves being presented. So to recap, this main event or situation does begin quite abruptly, quite quickly, very intensely and intently. It does, however, seem to calm down by this weekend. It seems almost like it resolves itself in a way. However, in contrast, the smaller event or situation, which seems to begin with almost as something that is very insignificant, almost like something that we don't really see coming, or something that is so small that we don't even really pay much attention to. That, in contrast, absolutely results in something that is very significant that leads, like I said, into this weekend, heading into next week. So really, again, it looks like we are looking into a mirror here, which I, as a tea leaf reader, I find that very interesting. So let's begin looking at this main event or situation, and then we will look at this other event or situation. As an overall observation, it does appear that this week does begin rather slowly. It seems as though nothing much is really happening. That may take the shape or form or experience of us really not feeling like things are going very quickly. We may feel stuck or stagnant. There's really not much happening. Or at least that's how it appears. Because just as I mentioned with this other secondary event or situation, which does start midweek, this main event or situation does begin similarly in that there are three rather seemingly insignificant events which combined together actually do result in something very, very positive happening. It's just that it seems unconventional, maybe even somewhat unlikely to an extent. Overall, there are 12 separate individual groupings comprising this one main event or situation. Now, one quick note before I go further, I will say that in addition to this week starting off rather slowly, which you can see by the amount of clear space there is between the rim, which is the beginning of the week, to this area of tea leaves, the rest of the cup, which you can see on the sides, is also relatively clear as well. So in other words, we are going to be able to focus on what we need to focus on, namely in this case, these two events or situations, and we really won't have any distractions. So let's begin by looking at this main event or situation, and we shall start by looking at this individual grouping here. It truly is amazing what you can see in tea leaves. I am always in awe of what is truly presented in a tea leaf reading, the amount of information and the level of detail as well. This individual scenario, as part of this overall event or situation, involves a few different things. A new idea, it contains or is comprised or comprises two different aspects, one main one and one smaller one. There is a person, place, or thing with the letter E that is involved, which you can see here. It's small, but you can see here. I will zoom in so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. There is an opportunity or a change of some kind that we will physically see. This is specifically a new opportunity or new start or new change, a new beginning of some kind. This aspect does involve things happening behind the scenes, so we are just not privy to all of the information. However, it does involve property in some way, shape, or form. Money is also likely related. It also does result in some kind of discussion or ideas regarding a new opportunity and or a new opportunity that just has not yet happened. It's still being discussed. All the details have not been decided upon. Ultimately, this also does result in a finalization of some kind. This is actually part of a slightly larger scenario. It does form protection. I mentioned this in a previous video. I believe it was from this past week, where you can see a version of a cross right here. So for myself, crosses always mean protection. It also helps to form a version of a square, which you can see here. For myself, squares, like the number 4, represent stability of some kind. So now let's look at these other 3 aspects, which are very clearly related. You can see because they are in close proximity to each other. And here we have a sweet little squirrel. For myself, squirrels can indicate abundance, as well as it's like the idea of squirreling away money. So I am absolutely not a financial advisor. I'm the first individual to say that. So again, please take this as you will with a very open mind. You may be experiencing the need or the situation to have some awareness regarding your finances. Now, whatever that is, obviously I have no idea, nor do I wish to know. That is your individual and private information. I would never ask you to divulge that in any way, shape, or form ever. However, I'm just simply relaying what I'm seeing. I am not suggesting any financial action to take at all. I'm just simply saying that there was a squirrel here, so financial savings may come up this week. That's all I'm saying. Take that as you will. Plus, squirrels are really cute. This actually may very well be involved with the house and home, which would make sense that this is more like personal finances, because there is a Cancerian connection. This may also either result in or likely be part of some kind of opportunity that is involved with the completion. Now let's move to this aspect here. Clearly, you can see that it is quite significant considering its size. There are certainly, again, seems to be a theme as well as last week, individual situations involving things happening behind the scenes that we are just not being made privy to. There is information present in all of these scenarios so far, except for maybe the squirrel, that the universe just does not want us to know. There are also a few letters involved. There are either people, places, or things involved, which have the letter E is presented in here twice. F, W, and J. You can see the letter J being shown right here. There may also be an aspect of having things organized, getting things straightened out, tidied up. Documents, a celebration of some kind of jubilation, happiness of some kind. This individual aspect, when it concludes, and at this point we would be looking at maybe Wednesday or Thursday possibly, it does result in partnerships. In fact, it begins with one smaller partnership and it concludes in a more significant partnership, which looks like it's still forming. So that may change when this event or situation does occur, when this individual aspect does take place this week. However, as of now anyway, it does look like it is still forming, which makes sense. It hasn't happened yet. A rather significant conclusion is also involved in this individual aspect, and it does result in 2 different things, or 2 different things are involved. What those individual scenarios are going to be, obviously I don't know, but it does result in 2 of them. Like last week, number 2 kept coming up, if you recall. I can say with great confidence that it does result in something being organized. Organization is being presented in here. Something is being tidied up or sorted out. Specifically, this is directly related to the next individual aspect here. This individual scenario is comprised of 3 individual parts. You can see that there is a form of a rectangle here. I'm attempting to not touch the leaves, as I have in previous weeks, and conventional stability, specifically regarding one individual thing or one individual aspect. Whatever this is, it is very good, and we are receiving very good things. We feel very mischievous and confident and a little bit cheeky about it. It may take a little bit of effort to get what we want, but we do receive what it is that we are wanting. Again, there is a Cancerian connection. There's also a fire sign connection, or if not a fire sign, the element or the idea of things happening quickly. There's action and momentum taking place, even if it does look like it's fairly small at the time. There is a helpful individual. This may be someone who is in a position of authority. They also may be a family member, likely a male, and they may even be an air sign. Air signs astrologically, again, I'm not an astrologer, however, Aquarius, Gemini, and or Libra. And again, there may be a document connected with that as well. Also, you may experience the elements of action and momentum. one, if not two documents taking place, a continuation of a new beginning. So in other words, two things have started and the situation is evolving. There also may be some minor travel involved as well. As we continue by looking at this individual scenario here, you will likely see that a tea leaf has dried and fallen. However, we continue. There may be either a document involved, which may or may not have any reference or connection to the state of California. There may be either documents or documents related to the state of California, or if not, then there is a California connection. There are three different scenarios involved potentially there, but California is absolutely involved in some way, shape, or form. And if not the state, then simply documents are involved. Also the element of learning, wisdom, education, and this may actually have specifically a connection with or to writing. So whether this is you writing a book or writing documentation of some kind, taking a course, teaching a course, taking a class, something along those lines. This results in further discussion around three different parts or aspects, scenarios. Actually, there's three separate opportunities or new beginnings that are associated with this individual scenario, as well as a person, place, or thing with the letter E, which you can see formed in this grouping here. As a happy side note, we actually have three so far separate winking faces. So whenever I see winking face, we're feeling happy, confident, and maybe a little mischievous or cheeky about something. We have a version of that here, as well as here. We have an eye, a winking eye, and a mouth. So in other words, whatever is taking place this week in regards to this individual event or situation, as all of these aspects are part of it, we're feeling good and confident. Taking a quick look at this individual scenario here, we can see that there is a person, place, or thing with the letter V that's involved. See there? And this scenario is indicating a beautiful partnership that involves unconditional love, support, loyalty, commitment, protection, guardianship. So whatever that is referring to, I actually feel very good about it, and it does seem like we are very much protected. In my opinion, we all have divine protection anyway, but as I mentioned last week, it's always nice to hear that again sometimes. Looking down a little further, we can see that there is a person, place, or thing with the letter L that's involved. There is also a helpful individual being shown here, have a letter J in their name, and they seem to be female. They appear to be quite jovial, like they're celebrating something. This is in relation to a document of some kind, one that has likely been worked on for quite some time. And yes, there is some behind the scenes work. I also want to point out that there is an indication that this entire event or situation is completely protected, whatever these individual aspects and or the overall situation is in regards to. There absolutely is protection covering all of this. In other words, we are not to worry about whatever the situation is. Now let's look at these two groupings being presented here. Now I can say right away that they are very significant in nature. One more so than the other. There are surprises involved. There is a great deal happening behind the scenes that we are just not being made privy to. However, I can still see some information, so let's take a look and see what is being shown. In this grouping here, there is a person, place, or thing with the letter A that's involved. Whoever or whatever this is in regards to is quite significant, as you can see by the sheer size of the letter A. There's a partnership, working with multiple people, wisdom, learning, education, possibly travel. Person, place, or thing with the letter J may be involved, as well as the letter E. Multiple opportunities, which all seem to be involving different parts or different aspects. It's not like just one opportunity. There's multiple parts to it. Very interestingly, there is someone involved in this entire scenario, and specifically involving an opportunity which has not yet happened, something that is being deliberated or thought about. This individual is extremely wise. They may have a native or indigenous connection. If not that, they are someone who is, again, very wise, someone who is very spiritual, almost shamanic. You may even interpret this or experience this as someone who is in the spirit realm who is assisting. You may also find some comfort or reassurance or some guidance found through meditation or prayer. And I say that because if you look here, there is a very clear indication of someone who is sitting here. They are likely male and Pisces, water sign connection. Another way that you could interpret that is that there's a connection between communication and them. Multiple documents are involved, as well as a sense of magic, as well as action, vitality, love, life force, taking a leap of faith, just going for whatever it is that you want. I say that because this grouping is in the shape of a horse, and you may even interpret that as being a horse that has wings. Head here, front leg here, the back leg here, the tail here, and possibly a wing there. We also have another winking face here. Eye, a winking face, and then a mouth. and a nose. Again, whatever the situation is, we are feeling very, very, very positive about this. Now let's look at this group here, working with multiple people, but more so than the event or situation we just looked at. There is a reminder to simply have an awareness of what is happening and to keep a positive and open-minded perspective. We may feel a minor setback or minor disappointment. However, it really is a matter of perspective. Glass half full or half empty scenario. It's all about our mindset. Possibly a person, place, or thing with the letter J that's involved twice, as well as the letter L and E. Messages, news, and information coming regarding one of the letter J's and the letter L. Communication likely arrives by electronic sources like text message, phone call, email, things of that nature. We're feeling very happy and positive about this scenario, and this individual situation does involve creation of stability. There are a few letter L's in there, so again, take that as you will. There is certainly a sense of a portal, almost a new beginning, something new that is starting. It's a new beginning. Very, very magical, very mystical. We even say it's spiritual and feminine. There is a feminine connection. There's a creation of a new beginning, a possibility of a new beginning that involves different parts or aspects. This entire scenario does involve a completion of some kind, but this completion is a very good one. It's very positive, and it does appear to involve a document of some kind, an opportunity. This weekend, heading into next week, I would say is going to be very monumental. There is a reason why hardly any tea leaves are being shown around the sides of the cup. In other words, I would say, as a tea leaf reader, use the time that you have this week that is free, that you have available, to complete whatever it is that you have not yet completed. Get done on whatever it is that you have been procrastinating and not gotten done yet, because when all of these tea leaves happen this weekend, heading into next week, even Friday night, it looks like it's going to be game on. Buckle up. Things are going to be incredibly busy. You may even say it may be stressful. There's going to likely be 3 very significant events or situations all happening relatively at the same time. Certainly 2, if not 3. So again, be ready and complete whatever it is that you have not yet completed. Get it done. I would say get it done now. I do not tell people what to do, especially in tea leaf readings or in readings generally. I do not do that. I'm very much like, do whatever you feel is right for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's not my job. It's not my place. However, as a tea leaf reader, within what I just said, within my realm of not telling you what to do, I'm telling you what to do. I'm putting the emphasis of what I'm saying on time management. That's my speech, and I'm going to hop off the soapbox now. So take that as you will. This grouping here absolutely involves abundance and prosperity. Again, there is a person, place, or thing with the letter J that is involved, as well as multiple partnerships, action, momentum, messages, news, and information involving a new opportunity that is not yet formed but is in the process of or is being thought about. That individual scenario involves action, vitality, life force, going for whatever it is that you want, not feeling inhibited. That is regarding a document. There is likely a person, although it could also, of course, be an event or situation that has the letter L involved, and the letter C has a relation to messages, news, and or information coming in with some deliberation about someone who has a letter T in their name. That has 2 aspects involved. I say that because there's a small letter T here. And looking here, you can clearly see letter T. Again, we're very happy with the situation. You can see that there is a happy face here, an eye, and a very large smile. This letter T and J connection involves someone who is very magical, also very wise and learned. This involves a completion of, we have jubilation, coming together of opposites that unite and create something new. If we look here, we can actually see the formation of a woman here wearing a dress. And here we have a male. Together, their arms are outstretched, and it's like they're holding a nest with a little bird inside, which is why I'm saying it's representing either a pregnancy of some kind and or some kind of new project. Seeing the letters J and T, and I have for the past few tea leaf readings. In this scenario here, you can actually see another letter J being shown right here. The state of Texas may also be possibly involved. You can see that because there is a formation here of a version of the state of Texas in this clear space here. I'm going to say this now. There is likely someone and or an organization that has the letters J and T in it, because I keep seeing it throughout this cup. I've seen it in other cups as well in previous tea leaf readings that we've done on this channel. You can see another one right here. I just moved the leaves. Oh no. But you can see that the J is still present there. This also looks to me to be a bunny. So there's again another symbol of creativity. There's also a person, place, or thing with the letter M involved. And as a slightly different perspective, to turn the cup around a little bit here, we can see a few other different images very briefly, I'll mention them here. Abundance and prosperity. You can also see, even though this is reversed, you can see the letter J in there as well. There's property that's involved. And do you see this other letter J? Someone and or an organization involves the letters T and J. Keep seeing it. Action, life force, vitality, movement, momentum. Again, someone who is a very wise and learned individual is present. This involves communication with a woman, possibly between two women, one of whom appears to have a Scottish connection and or a letter L in their name. And so I think I'm going to leave it there. I know that's a lot of information to sort of process. I hope that you have had an amazing weekend and that this week is wonderful for you, and that this weekend is even better, and that next week is even more amazing. Thank you so much again for taking the time to watch my videos. I do appreciate it. If you feel so guided me, please subscribe if you haven't already, like this video, and maybe even leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you so much and take care. Bye-bye.